One of the biggest problems I see people do is they put too much faith and trust into their agent or their lender. They're relying on them to make all the major decisions, and essentially they're just trusting that these people have their best interests at heart. Now, I'm not here to say that all agents are bad or all lenders are bad. However, I do think it's very important that you come to the transaction before you even talk to your first person already educated and have expectations of what you're looking for and who's going to help you, how they're going to help you, and you're just coming into it more informed. So in today's video, we're going to discuss what are 3 things that you absolutely have to do before you talk to your first agent or lender. Now, this is applicable if you're buying in a few months, in a few years, whatever your timeline is, this video will be helpful. And just a heads up, it will be a longer video. So this is definitely going to be one you come back, you take notes on, and you don't have to watch this all in one giant hit. Take your time. Or maybe you're not even buying a house. You're just here to just watch a handsome man talk. In that case, sit back and enjoy the show. So as I'm talking, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to just kind of I don't want to say make believe, but do a sample or a mock example of how I would do things if I were a buyer. Of course, I'm a little biased because I already know kind of what to do, but you can hopefully kind of see my thought process as I discuss these things. So the first thing I'm going to really highly recommend you do is market research. What does this mean? Well, right now, I mean, I'm making this video, early 2023, late 2022, but for the past year or two, it's been an insane market, and it probably is going to be, let's say, a troublesome market in the near future. So that being said, there are people out there that like to make these wide predictions about the entire housing market, and they're simply just hard to do. There's no way you can accurately predict what every single market is doing right now. So what you want to do is you want to do your own independent research on your specific market. And how we're going to do that is we're going to focus on 3 things. The first thing we're going to focus on is DOM, or days on market. What did you think DOM stood for? So we're going to focus on days on market. We're going to focus on listings to sold. And if we can find a website, which we'll look right now, that can give us that data, then that's going to be great. So essentially, we're going to look at how much houses are for sale, how much are being sold within the past 30 days. Is it basically we're trying to find something called the absorption rate. Absorption? I don't think I'm saying that right. Absorption rate. Our wonderful editor is now going to put in a very fancy screen here, or probably just a screenshot of what the definition of absorption rate, because it's much better explained by Google than me.
Put simply, the absorption rate is a measure of supply and demand. By taking the number of homes sold in a month and dividing it by the number on the market, you can find a percentage that determines how quickly homes sell.
Essentially, how many months it takes is basically have the inventory be absorbed up, right? But, hopefully the definition did a little better job explaining. And the last thing we're going to notice is price trends. What is going on? Now, we're going to do 2 things with price trends. We're going to look at your entire area, and we're going to look at specifically the neighborhood you're looking at. Now, before you start asking, Javier, are you going to have these? No, I'm not having these to download. Take notes. So now that we know we're focusing on these things, let me just create, I'm going to pick a random city here in my specific area. Let's pick Chandler, Arizona. Okay. So what I'm going to do first is, hold on. Sorry, my wife came in and she's pregnant, so I'm going to make sure she's happy. First trimester problems, right? Anyways, we're going to our handy dandy Zillow. Once again, I know it's a love-hate relationship with Zillow, but it's, it has the data. We can't do that. So anyways, we're going to focus in Chandler, Arizona. And what we're going to do specifically first is we're going to focus city, and then we're going to focus neighborhood. Now, let's kind of adjust things. So let's go for sale. Let's go by agent. We're not looking for any new constructions or anything like that. That's it. We're just getting a general market thing. We're just going to focus on houses, and then that's it. So there's, according to Zillow, 523 agent listings. Now, if you want to compare this to the actual MLS, let's do that so we can see if it's pretty similar. All right. So according to Zillow, 444. Well, it includes coming soon as well. Let me put that. Just Chandler, 459. And Zillow saying 523. although Zillow does include under contract is still for sale. So 522, 23. So within one or two. What I mean by that is in your specific area it could be different, but here there's two different ways that indicate a house is under contract. You either put under contract dash backups, meaning it's accepting backups, or pending. Means the same exact thing. The only difference is that you can indicate this as a status, and what it does is on Zillow it'll still show for sale because technically they're accepting backups, so it's technically for sale. Really, it's just a way for agents to get more leads. So just so you know. Anyways, so we're looking just at what you guys would have access to, which is this. So we have currently about 523 houses listed right now. So what we're gonna do to get the days on market is, let's see, what can we do? So okay, so what I did is I sorted it by newest, and then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna scroll down, and I'm gonna go to like the last page, like page 7. Because I just want to get a general feel of where we are. Now, if you have a buddy who's a realtor that you trust, they can give you all this data in a nice like worksheet or data sheet. But in this time, we're just getting an idea. We're doing our own independent research. So we're kind of seeing what's been the oldest houses for sale. Oh, it goes further than 7. So it's 10, 13. All right, so it looks like the oldest is 267 days. And then let's get about, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, about 7 pages worth of data. Looks like it is 79 days. So, give or take, we can calculate how many houses is there per page. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. So 20 is 22, 24, 26, 28, 30, 32, 34, 36, 38. So 38 houses, multiply that by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. About 296 worth of houses are currently days on market from as early as 79 days to 100 and something days, whatever that was. And let's see, another 8 pages worth of data. Let's see, from 8 to 5, 43. So I can tell already from the pages of data, which are approximately about 40 houses. And I know there's a lot of things being thrown at you, so I do apologize. From pages 5 to 14, there was at least over 50 days on the market, right? So pages 1 through 4 will be houses less than 50 days. Pages 5 through 14 was more than 50 days. So for sure, we can deduce that more than half of the houses have been for sale more than 50 days in Chandler. So this gives us a good indication that our days on market numbers are definitely on the higher side. So if I was looking in this specific area, I would say, man, yeah, this is actually a pretty decent area to maybe potentially get a good deal on. In this case, we would indicate, yeah, good, like a days on market. So we can maybe take some extra notes here. So I would write maybe like Chandler D on, so we'll do 1 to 5 pages equals 0 to 50 days on market. And then from 5 to 14 pages, 50 to 100, well, 50 plus days on market. So you see, it's not an exact science, but you're getting a better idea. So if you go talk to a realtor and they're like, yeah, houses are just flying off the shelves, you're like, but I did some research and the days on market doesn't indicate that at all, right? So you're already getting a better idea there. So now we look at the listing to sold rate. Now this will be a little tougher, but I think it's still possible. Does Zillow allow you to do it by sold? I believe they do. I mean, it's doing 15,000 results, which is kind of insane, but I think we do last 30 days worth of it. So we have to scroll down. It's gonna be a pain in the butt, but let's see how much, newest, so it's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 28, 30, 32, 34, 36, 38, 39, and then there's 1, 2, so there's 40. So this is for about 40 houses per page. So if we scroll back to the point where we get to today's 12:14, so we'll go find 11:14. So in this case, it looks like I found it really lucky. So it's on at least page, what page did I go to? Page 7. Well, I would say it's not all of page 7, so it's probably 6 pages worth, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5. So we do 40 times 6, which is 240, plus 5. 40 times 6, 240. So about 245 sales. So what we can deduce, just off kind of doing some basic math, there's been about 245 sales. You divide that to how many houses were again? Let me check. You guys are probably like, it was this number. We just had it up. 523. So basically our absorption number then. So if there's 245 sales happening per month, how many months will it take to get rid of all of the inventory? Right? So we at least know it's 1, obviously 245. So another way of doing this is simply dividing the listings, which is 523, divided by the sales, which is 245, and that gets 2.13. So the absorption rate is 2.13. So essentially, right now, just to kind of give you guys an idea of what that means, our absorption rate when things were like really crazy during the pandemic was like 0.5, 0.4, 0.6. So literally 4,000 or 5,000 listings, 10,000 sales. It was insane. And we're talking about specifically Phoenix. Probably your area was like very similar to that. Not necessarily the number wise, but still very hot. So now it's completely different. And market wide, I think in Phoenix is like 4, absorption rate of 4 point something. So we at least know specifically in Chandler, there's enough listings to last for about 2 months. So this, I mean, if there's about, let's say your absorption number is 2 to 4. That means that if you're going out on a weekend and there's not a house you like, guess what? There's plenty of options. If you continue to wait, you'll probably be okay. If your absorption number is probably less than 1, then if they're telling you, hey, this might sell right away, they're probably telling the truth. Either way, you can make your own conclusions. I'm not here to tell you how to think. I'm telling you how to get the data so you can make your own personal decisions. And of course, the last thing is going to be the price trends. So this one's will be a little tough. And if you look up data online, they tend to skew it in the direction that they want you to. So, agents will pull up data to make it seem like prices are still going up. Likewise, the market crash chads will pull it so that way it's going down. Simply, best way of doing it is continue to go back and look at the sales that have happened. So in this case, in this specific case, it'll be tougher to do area wide. If you're like in a smaller area, then it might be doable. But essentially, you would just have to keep an eye on it for many months. Or if it's a smaller area, then you could just scroll back and kind of get an idea. But this one specifically is probably a little better to do at a micro level. So actually putting what your actual home search is. So let's just kind of do 4-bedroom, 2-bath. Let's do houses under 450. Let's do a square feet about 750 to 2,000. And really get super specific here. Lot. So 433. Okay. 4 bedrooms, 2-bath. Okay, now that we have our search done, we're going to micro level. Let's just say we're looking in one specific neighborhood. So let's remove the boundary. We're gonna draw. Let's just draw kind of like a square. I'm gonna do my best to draw a square. Jeez. Okay, 23 results. Let's just kind of go back and you'll start seeing kind of matches. Like this is a 4-bedroom, 2-bath with a garage coming out and a window coming out, and you'll probably start seeing it very soon. Like here's another similar one. That one sold in January in 2021 for $380. This one sold in April 2021 for $435, and there's definitely an upward trend there that's happening. Fortunately, not the best numbers here. There really hasn't been any sales. It looks like there hasn't been any sales in 2022. That's insane. Maybe remove the price. And I'm glad I'm doing this so you can kind of see how, okay, yeah, so I was being too specific on the price. So we're just looking generally what they're selling for. So this one sold for $530 in August 31 of 2022. Okay, let's see if we can find something similar. This one sold at 1748 square feet. This is also, it looks like it's a model match. That one's for $505. So it looks like there's a 25,000 gain within that February to August period. See if we can find another model match so we can see 1,700 square feet-ish. So this one's 2,566. Here's a model match, 1748 for $460 in 2021. So we went from $460, $461 September 2021 Actually, favoriting these will probably be smooth so you can pull them up in one list, to 505 to 530. Now, has there been anything recently that's sold? Oh my gosh. Yes, we have a model match that's sold in October 31st, Happy Halloween, for $455. So that price went down to a similar price as it was in 2021. Definitely a huge thing. Now, why? This will probably be one that what I personally would do if I were you guys in this case is I would probably pull the specific one. I would probably have my real estate agent say, hey, can you call this agent and find out why it sold for so little? Because it seems like it was really well priced. It's kind of bizarre that they sold it 100,000 under. Maybe it's just a trend of the sign. So now if you go talk to an agent, let me get back on the saddle, if you will. If you talk to an agent like, yeah, that house you're looking for is probably going to be in the 530s, 540s, this house sold for 530. You can be like, It looks like we're back to the prices of 2021. Have you looked up 1908 West Manor Street in Chandler? This one sold for 455. Okay. So once again, is it perfect? No, we're not getting exact data and we're not going to become like data scientists or anything, but you have a much better idea of what's happening in your individual market. So you're not going to your agent to rely on them to give you that data. Just using Zillow, Realtor, whatever your site you like, you can get a very rudimentary, is that the right word? Hold on, I want to make sure. Rudimentary. Basic principles. Yeah. Why not? I went to community college for like 6 months, so be jealous. Anywho, you can get a very basic rudimentary understanding of what's going on specifically in the city that you're looking for. And you can call an agent's BS or a lender's BS. And that's why I always tell you, do your individual market research. All right, that's our first one. How you doing? How you feeling? Hope you have your coffee. Basically, this time of year, I just love doing like a medium spurt of coffee. I know I use K-Cup, sue me. It's a lot of work to grind beans and all that. And then I do half coffee, half eggnog. And dude, I love my coffee milk and sugar flavored. I like milk, sugar with a burst of coffee flavor, as opposed to coffee and a little milk flavor, if that makes sense. Anywho, so what's the second thing that you have to do research on that's not your market? Well, good question. Before we get there, I'm going to do a magic trick and I'm going to change clothes magically and my hair's going to grow out just like a centimeter longer. Ready? Whoa. Cool. So let's continue. The second thing you need to absolutely do before you talk to anybody, this probably involving more the lender conversation, but realtors too, is making sure your numbers are right. Making sure you have an idea of what the monthly payment you're going to be looking for is. Not going to them and expecting them to give you basically the answer. Because here's the thing. You go to your lender and you just trust that they have your best interest in mind. When they tell you you qualify up to this price of a house, you're thinking, wow, I qualify for this price of a house. They must think I'm okay. Yeah, everything's going to be great. They're looking out for me. And your realtor, great. You qualify up to this. Perfect. Because honestly, the higher you qualify for, the easier job it is for us, right? So we're just going to go yeah, absolutely. Let's go. And you go, you get yourself a house. And next thing you know, that monthly payment's a little tighter than you thought. But that's what you qualified for, right? So it must be okay. Next thing you know, you lost your money, you got into an accident, some kind of emergency happened, and now money's tight, and that monthly payment is giving you not a good time, let's just say. What could he have done better? What could he have done to prepare a little better? Well, here's the thing that you need to know. What you qualify for does not equate to what you could afford. Let me repeat that again. Please write this down as your notes. What you qualify for does not equal what you can afford. Now, I'm not going to get too deep into the budget vids because there's, of course, a lot of options, a lot of opinions out there. But at its basic principle, there is a number that you have that's what we'll call a golden number, that if you pass this monthly payment threshold, you are considered house poor or house broke or just the laughingstock of your family. That one hit a little too deep. I'm sorry. I apologize. Anywho, so how do we find out this difference? Well, first, let's talk about what a lender will probably do to qualify you. Now, this is a very, very basic way of explaining this. Of course, a lender, I'm sure they'll tell you it's a lot more complicated, but most of the time, this is a general ballpark of what you will qualify for. Now, Zeke, the Zeke the editor, who we all love, will do the best job to give you visual representation here as I am chatting, because there's no visual reference. I'm going to give you Zeke. Sorry, gonna really make a little work. Also, can you make me look really buff? Okay, so what they do is they calculate your debt to income ratio, and approximately for most conventional loans, 50% is that debt to income, or basically the max monthly payment that you qualify for. So for example, let's say you make $8,000 a month, $8,000 a month. We get 50% of that, so we can either multiply by 0.50 or divide it by 2, and we get, what is it, $4,000, okay? So if you had no debts, you would qualify up to $4,000 as your monthly payment. That sounds amazing and all, but really, if we get this $4,000 number, odds are, if you're grossing $8,000, you're not taking home $8,000, you're probably taking home like $6,000 or $7,000. So let's say you're taking home $7,000, $4,000 is more than half of your income. This is gonna put you in a really bad spot. Now, once again, they're not financial advisors. They're not going to tell you what you should or shouldn't do with your money. They're going to tell you what you qualify for, and they're going to let, basically what happens is emotions take over, and you start thinking about the house you think you deserve or you think you want, or the house you love. You win the house you love, instead of like just really thinking about the future version of yourself that might be in a pinch, right? But this is if you have no debts. So once again, we said $4,000 is what you to qualify for, but this is assuming you have no debts. So from this number, we actually take any minimum monthly payments, like your credit card payments, your car payments, your student loans, anything that pops up on your credit will pop up and to be deducted from here. Minimum payments, not what you pay. So let's say you have three card payments, $50 each, $150. You say you have a car payment of $400. We subtract, what is it, 400 plus 150 equals, so we subtract 550 from this, and now you only qualify for that 3,450, right? So that's the number that you would qualify for. So essentially, let's get that out of the way. Most of the time, no, probably 99% of the time, don't want to buy your absolute max threshold, because you will be considered with house broke. So what is the right number, you might be asking? Well, here's the thing. That's up to you to do your own research on. There's a lot of trains of thoughts, and I have made videos about this for sure. But, at the end of the day, let's just kind of break down three. The super conservative route is 25% of your net income. The more conservative, more loose route, more liberal route, if you will, is like 30 or 28% of your gross income. Whatever number is that you decide, that is something you have to be aware of. So let's use a sheet and a real life example to help you kind of understand it a little better. So if, let's say, you are in a situation where you make $6,000 a month, let's say your net income is $4,500. Let's say you have a car payment of $200, a student loan of $100, and let's assume you have 2 credit card payments. We can then move that to what can you afford, and we get a good idea of what's going on here. So you probably would qualify up to a payment of $2,600 a month. That's approximately 58% of your net income. That's insanity. But what should you afford? What we should afford is something around this range, this being the 30% of your gross, this being 25% of your net. This is nowhere near this. And unfortunately for a lot of people, this means you're not buying a house. This means you're not probably buying in the right area. This is, we probably have to find something really cheap. This is like, oh yeah, I'm going to go accomplish my goals now, and I'm going to go get my own home, and my dad will finally love me. No. You know who needs to love you? You need to love you, not your dad. Get that in your head. But anywho, that's the thing that you really, really, really have to make sure you understand. So when you talk to your lender and they're like, hey, you qualify up to $3,000, you can say, well, actually, I think I want to stay around $1,700. So if I qualify for $1,700, how does that look like? Oh, well, you can only qualify for this. Why do you want to be there? Well, actually, $1,700 puts me at about 38% of my net income, but 28% of my gross. That leaves me about $2,100. That leaves me about $2,400 left per month, so I can make more financial, smarter decisions. And if worst case scenario, I can pay the mortgage with one check, and the second check I can use for anything else. honestly, I prefer to be around $1,400. So that leaves me about 23% of my gross and 31% of my net, with more money than I need to save. And that's really where I need to be. And well, maybe you're not going to buy in the best area. Maybe you're not going to buy in the area that you were thinking about, but you're making a much more informed financial decision not for yourself, not for your current self, but you're making the best financial decision for yourself in the future who might be in an emergency situation or might simply decide, I want to start really focusing on paying off debts. I really want to really focus on starting to save a lot more money. You're putting yourself, that person, in the best financial position to start aggressively saving. So please, please, please do not use your lender as your financial advisor. Do not use your realtor as your investment manager. These are folks that are in commission-based businesses. They're not here to, they're here to technically serve you and be the best for you, but you need to do the research yourself to make sure that you're put in the best financial spot. So that we've covered two things already. We've covered doing your own research for the market. We've done, doing your own independent research of figuring out what that golden number for you is, not using your lender and your real estate agent as financial advisors, right? But you're making your own decisions based on your own budget. The final thing that you have to do before you work with anybody or start actively looking for a house is prepare your interview process. Gasp! What do I mean? If you inherited a company that was worth, I don't know, let's say $5 billion, right? You inherited this giant company. Well, that's a little aggressive. Let's go a little. Let's say you got you inherited like a small mom and pop shop. You want to keep it, but you don't know anything about running a restaurant business or whatever business you came to your mind. For me, it might be like Gundam figures. Me and my son have been building them lately. It's pretty awesome. You want to start so what you do is you interview a partner and you say, hey, you know how to run a business. I don't, but I still want to be involved in the decision making. I need to hire the best person. And so you're going to do your absolute best to, when you interview several people, ask them the right questions, because literally your future is in their hands a bit in a way. You really want to make sure you get someone you trust, someone that you like, someone that you can work for a long period of time. And you're going to do a really great job, like interviewing and finding the best thing. So if that's the same thing hopefully you would do if you're put in that position, why do we just work with the first person that we see? Why do you go to an open house and you happen to meet Joe, and Joe takes you out taking you out to look at houses? A lot of times first-time home buyers, the value they think they bring to the table is a lot less than it actually is. So meaning, I'm just a first-time home buyer, so I can't, beggars can't be choosers. Whoever answers the phone is who I want to work with, right? No. You really need to change it. You're investing, even though I'm saying right now is not the best time to invest in houses, but basically your home purchase is like a business decision. It's like your financial decision. You're going to make the best decisions and work with the best people to benefit you and your position. Because at the end of the day, you versus the you that got a better deal, you'll never know this version of you because you're going to be here. You can only know this person, the person that got the best deal, can know the person that didn't, but you, the one that didn't, will never know the one that could have. Why? Because you don't know, maybe the people you hired didn't represent you the best way, didn't identify opportunities. And there's no way of really sure-proofing it, but the best way you can do it is making sure you have a very ironclad interview process. So what does this mean? Don't just work with the first person you hire. Lenders included, realtors included. Find 1, 2, 3 people. Yeah, maybe one person you might talk with and they just knock you out of the park and you want to work with them. Great. We'll still have a conversation with someone else just to make sure. What I would do if I were in your position is I would allow them to kind of guide me at first to see what their education style is and see if they're actually doing a great job educating me. Are they just saying, hey, great, we're on the phone now. Let me send you with my lender, get pre-qualified. Let's go look at houses tomorrow. Whoa, hold up, partner. Or are they saying, hey, great, let's set up an appointment in my office so we can kind of sit down and go over everything and educate you the best way. Maybe you are the fast people saying, let's just go. And you like number one, great. that's who you work with. You maybe want to take things slow. You want to, chat and want to get educated first. Great. That's the option. So first, allow them to kind of guide you through their process and see if that process fits your personality and what your expectations are. Two, when you talk to them, maybe in person or over the phone, whatever the case may be, prepare 3 to 5 questions of just getting to know them. And you're not going to ask them questions that most agents and lenders are prepared for. I made a video a long time ago where I was like, okay, this is the agents to ask your questions to ask your realtors. You don't want to ask them like, oh, so how many houses have you sold? Or why do you sell houses? Because they have those questions memorized and prepared. Yeah, they will, we're all salespeople. They're going to know exactly what to say I'm not saying they're doing it in a bad way, but those are questions they're fully prepared for. The thing is that you could find an amazing agent who is having a really rough time personally, like in their personal lives, and they can give you an absolute horrendous experience. So if you ask that agent, hey, how long have you been a realtor, blah, 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 they're going to tell you amazing things, but the personal side is still there and you're not aware and that you have a bad experience. At the same token, you can find someone who maybe hasn't had the best track record, but has really changed it around over the last 6 months, and they are now going to focus and make sure you have the best experience. However, their past record might not show that. Or maybe they don't do a good job of marketing themselves, et cetera, et cetera. You just don't know. So the questions you prepare, questions where you're kind of poking to see the real version of them. But at the same time, you're kind of seeing how professional they react. And if you like the person that you're seeing react to this. So a question that would really trip people up, let me just give you a few. So how are you doing right now? How's business? So how does your business model work? Like who kind of clients you work with, or where did you find your last 3 to 5 clients from? And this, you can find out if they're referral based, because if they're referral based, that's a really great thing. I mean, they're doing such a good job for people that they get referred a lot. Or if they find out, oh no, they don't get referrals at all. Oof, how come you don't get referrals? You help people and then they just never recommend you again. What's up with that? Ask about their situation. Do you have any kids? Do you own your home? Do you rent a home? How long have you had your house for? Once you ask those kind of questions, then you can kind of throw in the cheesy questions like, why did you get into real estate? What would you do if you weren't a real estate agent? What do you hate about being an agent? What do you love about being an agent? What has been your best success story, but what has also been the least success story? Like, I personally don't like when people do this. However, you can do this. You can ask for references if needed. And you're like, hey, can I add a list of clients and help? Go for it. Do that. Or you can send a long, giant questionnaire if you want to. But these are things that you kind of just have to be face to face or over the phone or over Zoom and get a feel for it. Feel how they answer. See how they land on their toes. See how they land if you push them, I don't know. My sayings aren't as sharp today. I ran out of coffee. I'm struggling here. But anywho, you get the point. You're doing a much deeper dive. Now, for the lender, you're doing the same thing. And I did make a video where I talk about what questions to ask a lender. So yes, go watch that so you can see the lending aspect of it. However, for everything else, you still want to get a good feel of the person that you're helping you. For lenders and realtors, realtors maybe if they're working with the team, but lenders, you want to really ask them, like, if there's an emergency on a Saturday, who am I talking to? Do you have any, like if I call you and you don't answer, is there, does it go to somewhere else? Are you going to pass me off once we're under escrow? Do you have a processor? Am I going to be able to talk to you most of the time? Or are you giving me to one of your agents, one of your whatever? You really, this is the time to really get to feel for the situation. Now, there is no perfect there. There is no, this is the perfect situation. This is the perfect, no. You have what you have. You know your expectations. You know your values, and if you find people that meet those expectations and the values, then you're in the nirvana zone. You're doing great. But if you don't even have those expectations set, if you don't even have those values present, you don't even know what you want, you can't then get frustrated when you go out there trying to look and the person you're helping you is not giving you what you need when you never set those expectations with them or yourself on the kind of person you want and the kind of experience you're needing, right? So this was a longer video, but I want to hear from you guys. Is there anything else that maybe you thought about or maybe that's helped you that can help any other future buyers? And I also would love to hear if you actually applied any of these things and if they saved your booty or if it was a bunch of poop. So thank you guys so much. I appreciate your time. If you're looking for an agent referral, check out homeandmoney.com/Javier. Links in the description. Go check it out. It's a great company. They connect you with one of the best agents in your local area. And of course, if you want any of the sheets that we talked about or used in today's video, check out patreon.com/Javier. Vidana, and links in the description for everything you guys are looking for. I'll see you guys on the Discord. I'll see you guys in the live streams. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. And make sure to clip your nose hairs. Actually, if you watch to the end of the video, I want you to say something about clipping your nose hairs. And that's why, and that's how I know. So you can say, oh, Javier, that was a great video, da da da. Also, yeah, I clip my nose hairs. And people are going to be so freaked out. They're going to be like, what?